what was pre-Bambu like for you? What was life like back then, and how long ago was that?
So Bambu is a trading title for the business Hall-Tech Electrical Services, which would suggest that we've had a past. So going back to 2003, I, as an electrician, set up Hall-Tech. So we're in our 17th year. We grew that to a decent size, and we got a council contract, and we ended up rewiring 2,000 houses in Hull, completed the contract, and the client walked out. Basically, when they completed the contract, they never renewed it. So we went from being mad busy, 50 electricians, doing all sorts of weird and wonderful projects, Great Thornton Street flats, bungalows, all over Hull, and becoming very good at it over 5 years. And then when they left, I'd done well out of it, and then I thought, well, I don't know where to put myself now. Around about this time, energy efficiency was becoming quite a big deal, so we diversified and went into the energy efficiency market, and a lot of government funding schemes were being released, such as solar PV, amongst others. So we positioned ourselves in that sector for around about 5 years, traded as Hall-Tech Energy Partnership. We bought an office, we bought the first electric car in Hull, the Nissan Leaf, and we generated a lot of sales in that sector. And then once that sector got established, the government started reducing the funding mechanisms and the initiatives. And I'm thinking, well, my business is reliant on them initiatives because that's how I make it attractive to our clients. So at this time, though, a lot of the initiatives needed scaffolding, and I was sat on some quite healthy profit reserve. So I invested in scaffolding around about 2014. So to answer your question, electrics, boilers, solar, external wall insulation, construction, to scaffolding, and we've been doing scaffolding for around about 5 years.
So do you remember when you changed from being an electrician to being a business owner?
Yes, I actually do remember that really well. I had an advert in the Hull Daily Mail, and that's how I generated all of my initial inquiries. I started with a £1,000 vehicle, which I found a picture of the other day as I was going through some old files, reminiscing, and I was still putting a light up in someone's bathroom, but at this time I had about 4 staff members, and I'm charging 40 quid to put this light up, and I'm thinking, them 4 guys probably aren't doing any work because I'm in here putting this light up. So I thought, as soon as I've done this light, I'm not doing any more of these. I'm going to be pushing, just driving around, making sure that they're meeting their targets, meeting customers, and that was at the age of 24, 14 years ago. And I've very rarely picked my tools up since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
So hence then you're able to start a scaffolding company.
2014, yeah, we started that, which was an interesting entry to the market, if you like, because by the time I started the scaffolding company, I'd done quite a lot of personal development, and a lot of the world leaders in personal development are American, so they're quite American in the advice, and the American way of doing things is a little bit like go big or go home. So to apply that to Bambu, in our very first year of trading, we became the main sponsors of Hull FC, which we've got the shirt behind us, the Wembley winning shirt. Now, that's not normal business behaviour to go sign a major sponsorship deal in year one.
Yeah.
A bit American.
Yeah.
And off the back of that, we upset possibly a few competitors, and just like, oh, are these cats coming in? Pandas, sponsorship deals. So, yeah, it was quite an interesting entry to market.
Yeah, because I wanted to talk to you about that, because Bambu seemed to be very quickly everywhere from not existing. Now, obviously, there's a lot of good branding behind it, but there must have been quite a strong strategy in order to do it. That doesn't happen by accident.
Well, when I was an electrician and I decided to re-diversify or reposition myself, the natural choice wasn't scaffolding, wasn't government-funded stuff. The natural choice was low-energy lighting, and the reason for that was my electrical mind and my engineering background. I really understood the dynamics of LED lighting. So around about 2012, I decided to go to Hong Kong Lighting Fair, which is like the biggest fair in that sector. Well, there's two. There's Frankfurt Lighting Fair and Hong Kong, and I went to both of them. So I really studied it and got to know my onions on LED lighting and the benefits of the technology. And I set up my own lighting division. I actually set up my own lighting brand of products. And I could be cheaper than anywhere because I was buying directly from the factories in the Far East. So I've got this golden ticket where I go, if I go to these business owners and say, I can get you this product at this price directly from source, and your savings on your energy bills and your maintenance savings will be a payback of 2 years, I'm thinking, everyone's going to go for this. The problem was I was a little bit ahead of the curve, and it was almost like, this can't be as good as you're saying it is. And it wasn't established in this sector, it was established globally, and it now is established here. But while I was in Hong Kong, there was scaffolding up the side of tower blocks, high-rise buildings, skyscrapers, and it was made of bamboo. And I just very loosely thought to myself, if I ever have a scaffolding company, I'd call it Bambu. me and my vision and whatever. Yeah, and a couple of years later, 2014, we set a scaffold company. So the brand was born, albeit while I was getting something else off the ground.
I love that, Alex. I mean, the very first time I saw, I think it was a Paul for Brain Recovery event that you were sponsoring and part of, and I remember seeing a big banner, and it was Bamboo Scaffolding, and straight away I thought, that's a nice brand for a company within an industry that don't normally do branding, and or especially quirky and very nice branding. And how was that branding process? Did you have a professional design agency behind it? Was it something you had in your mind? Did you give over that control for the brand?
Good question that, and no one's actually asked me that. I went to an event where it was help some young kids who were trying to get a job, and basically do mock interviews and stuff. And there was this young kid there, and he had glasses. He was 6 stone wet through, and he showed me this piece of computer work he'd done. I was like, "Oh, did that you?" He said, "Yeah." He basically doesn't. He just sits in all night. He's a gamer. Sits in all night doing all this stuff. I said, "Do you want to come and work for me?" So we give him a job, and I said, "Do us a favour, come up with some brands for that." So this kid was, I think at the time, he'd have been about 16. So he'd never had a job, and he's in my office, and he comes up with this brand. And me thinking, as I've got a branding and marketing brain, I'm thinking, don't ever go for the first brand if we're going to build this big. So I then went to some friends who work for a major agency. They work for nationals. And I said, I've got this brand and I like it, but I'm not going to just settle for the first thing. Tell me what you can do. And I put a budget together, and they came up with all these designs. And what we ended up doing was freshening up what he produced. So to all intents and purposes, this 16-year-old that I just met and give a job as just a bit of a lad in the office, almost like an administrator, he came up with the brand, albeit we've freshened it up a little bit, but the idea was Chris's.
Nice story.
Is he still with Bambu? How did his journey go?
No, when we diversified, when we was an electrical business and there was a lot of job security there, when we went into the government funded world, it's a boom and bust industry. So it's like, right, this week we're doing boilers, knock on a door, give a boiler away, and get paid by the energy companies. The funding's gone. Then you're on to the next stream, solar. Then the next stream, which was external wall insulation. So a few of my staff within the business, they didn't like that uncertainty. So they were going and looking for normal sort of standard businesses, if you like. So one of the ladies got headhunted, and she came to me and she said, "I've got a job here. I'm thinking of going. My best friend offered me the job. She's a partner of the business." I said, it's a standard business. It's not as exciting as here. We're always on the move. We're always doing sort of weird and wonderful things. But that's exciting to me, but not necessarily exciting to them. So when that lady left, she took a couple of people with her, and Chris went over there. I've stayed in touch with him, and he's done some of it. I'm quite proud because he does great branding for them.
Yeah.
But I will say on record, it was my find, and you owe me a drink for taking him with you. It was great. Our Christmas invites, what I used to do, he did one Christmas, and it was our head office in a snow globe, and it was snowing. So if we invited you to our Christmas party, you'd open it, and it's like the Bambu head office in a snow globe with snow coming down, and he used to come up with all this stuff, and he was a real talent, and he still is a talent. I think he went on to get a first in the degree he was pursuing. So I think I've let one slip from my fingers there, but I got the Bambu brand out of him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do. So when you, I think when you're a business owner and you learn business and not just the trade that you do, you learn how to run a company, then you can apply those skills, be it marketing, systems, organization, strategy, whatever, to any business. And I think there's a testament to that. Am I right in saying that when you started Bambu, you were scared of heights?
I was scared of heights. Yeah.
So you started a scaffolding company and you were scared of heights?
Yeah, I'm scared. I was scared of heights. I've cured it by being bullied into abseiling down the tallest building in the whole city centre. So I'm self-cured, but yeah, I was scared of heights. I was always scared of heights. I don't know why. I don't think anything happened as such. I've always been comfortable flying, but I think when I go near the edge of a building, my legs go a bit, or they used to, they don't anymore. I just get a bit of vertigo.
Yeah.
Which is where we first met, wasn't it, Alex? Was where I was dressed as a big frog.
Yeah, you were dressed as a frog. We had people dressed as pandas. We had me crying on the edge of a building about to get pushed off by Paul. And I'm like, Paul, I'm generating money for your charity. This is not how it works. Like, why are you making me? Like, it's a good one, though. It's a good one because what he did was, in the interview on TV, you do these little sad videos. He made me commit to it on TV or on a video that we then published. Once you've said it, you've got to do it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And to be fair, once I went off the edge of the building, and after you did it quite. You was one of the first down it. You literally jumped down it like a frog as well. You was quite comfortable with the heights, I remember.
But I remember halfway down. So, like at first, you're thinking, right, just make sure the head stays on this frog because you don't want that dropping on people. This big frog's head thing, and then as you start getting used to it, then you remember back to movies when you were a teenager. You know, with them all like scaling down the side of buildings, Mission Impossible and stuff. And so I thought, right, now I know what I'm doing. And I started trying to bounce off the building. Just as I started to do that, I was about a third from the bottom. And I just started I was upside down, out of control, with all these little kids looking at this 7-foot frog spinning around on the side of this building. Yeah, that was a good time. That was. I've had tougher gigs for sure, but
I got a little telling off about that actually, because I don't know if you noticed there was 2 big pandas there. Well, there were actually people dressed as pandas. There's only 2 pandas in the UK, and they're in Edinburgh Zoo, and I couldn't get them, so I had to do the next best thing. So I went to Andy's Man Club with Leon. Leon asked me to go to Andy's Man Club, and I've been loads of times. It's really beneficial. And I sat in there, and I'm thinking, there's a kid there, and he's talking, he's opening up, and he's like, I'm doing this challenge, I'm doing that challenge. He basically does whatever challenge he's put in front of him and go, I've got a challenge for you. Do you want to get dressed as a panda and abseil down the side of a building? Then there's another guy there, and he's a big fella, ex-doorman, just a big guy, and I'm thinking, first lad's quite small, the second lad's quite big. I've got Bam and Boo. Why don't I create 2 pandas, Bam and Boo, get them to abseil down, and then I can almost do the adventures of Bam and Boo. So at the end, I said in Andy's Man Club, I said, look, I'm bringing my friend down to here, Paul. We're going to do it. We've secured the ability to abseil down the building while we're working on it. If anyone wants to do it, it'll be a great challenge. And at the end, I'm pulling these 2 guys aside, and I'm like, you don't mind? I'm creating these 2 characters, Bam and Boo. Do you fancy doing it? And then Boo went on he ran a 10K dressed as a panda. He had a boxing match dressed as a panda. He abseiled, and then he ended up working with us for a couple of years, and we became quite good friends off the side of it. But Leon pulled me aside and he said, look, Alex, will you just have a bit of respect? It's a man club. Some of these guys might not want you asking them to dress as pandas, climbing down the side of buildings. I said, no, they're up for it. I'm like, lads, are you up for it? Anyway, that's where Bam and Boo was created. At the moment, the focus is on these charity events and the fitness. So if you want to get involved in a charity event, you want to just get involved, 07929 566612, WhatsApp that number and I'll add you to the group.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Business Lockdown.
Please comment, like, share and subscribe to help build our global community.
We look forward to seeing you all soon.